Julian Edelman named the Super Bowl MVP for Super Bowl 53. Pretty rare instance when a wide receiver gets it just 7 times in the over half a century we've been playing the big game that a wide receiver's taken it home, and the first time in 10 years. But DC and MJD, be prepared to be outraged right now, because released today by the NFL was the information that the 16-person media panel that votes for the MVP for the Super Bowl did not cast one vote for any defensive player in the lowest scoring Super Bowl in the 53-year history. Thoughts on that?
It's an offensive award.
That's kind of
that's what it comes down to.
But the Patriots gave up 3 points.
You act like
and defenders have won it in the past.
We're going to get to the argument that I'm going to make for someone that's on defense, so don't worry about it.
Just a thought on it's a 16-person media panel, and the NFL said no defenders got a vote.
It's really a quarterback award. And if the quarterback doesn't do well enough,
find the guy with the interception.
So find the next best guy. That's what it comes down to.
Who caught the passes from the quarterback?
And Edelman tore it up in the game. I mean, he was tremendous, and it's a well-deserved award. But make a case for someone else besides Edelman taking home the trophy.
That's easy, because you look on the defensive side of the ball, which we talked about, no one even cares about apparently. But Stephon Gilmore played fantastic. I think that the best play that I saw was he's about to get stiff-armed by C.J. Anderson, and he goes out there and knocks the ball out. This was a great play on 3rd down. But, I mean, CJ's got the ball in the corner right here, and instead of ran over, nice punch out. If that ball stays in bounds, how would he not be the guy? So 5 tackles, an interception, the biggest play of the day. Yeah. I mean, that's fantastic. So for me, Stephon Gilmore could easily won it if Julian did not.
You're right. I'm going to go with Dont'a Hightower. I thought he played a phenomenal game. You talk about the pressure, why golf was uncomfortable. It was because of him. He created a ton of pass rush in these situations. Either he's stunting here, they do a T-East game where he's the linebacker, he goes in, beating guys one-on-one, finding ways here. Okay, bull rush. I mean, he was all over golf all night. One of the reasons that golf had to throw that ball was because they blitzed. But guess what? They were sliding protection to him, and they were able to bring 4 weeks. So he was disruptive all night. He had some big plays in the running game. He was a disruptive person all game. The Rams couldn't stop.
And to do so many of those looks, you got to have a guy lining everybody up.
Yes.
You know, and when Chung went out, he was really the guy.
Okay, one problem. I don't think that Stephon Gilmore or Dont'a Hightower would have had as much fun with Tom Brady at Disney World as Julian Edelman would have.
You never know that.
So, well, that's true. I don't know if they had the Jedi robe big enough for Dont'a Hightower. He's got the broad shoulders and everything else like that.
You never know, though. Give the guy opportunity. Give him a chance.
That's true. Give him a chance. Hey, before we started here on NFL Total Access, MJD was part of the final Power Rankings show of the 2018 regular season. Little teardrop right there. Elliot Harrison did his list of the NFL Power Rankings presented by the U.S. Army. Patriots number 1, but he had the Saints over the Rams. Saints over the Rams.
They're salty, like you say.
Chiefs at number 4, and you see the rest of the list right there. Elliot, how'd you arrive at this top 10?
Okay, with my latest power rankings, I think what really stands out to people the most in the top 10 is the Saints right here at number 2. Look, we could talk about the NFC Championship game all day. I'm looking at some of the free agents that are going out with the Rams and Ndamukong Suh, C.J. Anderson, big contributors in the postseason, not as much with the Saints. And then number 5, the Colts. They have a huge amount of capital to spend in free agency. They had the best draft of any team in the league last year, and Andrew Luck will be in year 2 of his return, and they did so well already. I think the Colts are primed for a big 2019. Scott?
All right, so he's got the Colts there. We look at the bottom 10 of Elliott's power rankings. Okay, this is Tom Brady does well with a chip on his shoulder. These 10 teams ought to do the same thing right now.
I got my eye on 2 of them.
Okay, and by the way, the Colts, who he just said is in for a big offseason and a big leap forward this next year, the Colts were in the bottom 10 at this time 1 year ago.
Yeah, they were 32.
So MJD, to you first. Pick out a top 10 team right there and tell me who's going to make a push for the playoffs.
Where's my single?
Where's
it at?
Right, straight ahead.
There you go. It's really simple. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Get us a quarterback. Yes, you can put the homer alert and all that good things. Get the Jacksonville Jaguars a quarterback. They have a defense that's ready to go. You add another playmaker in running game. Matter of fact, in a couple weeks, I'm going to come out and tell you if I was a GM for the Jacksonville Jaguars, what I would have done. And they'll be in the top 10. You know that. I'm always right.
They were ranked 3rd in preseason power rankings this year.
They had a bad year. They'll bounce back like Jordan.
All right, DC, who you like?
I don't know. I'm still interested about the Jaguars because the flip is there now, so maybe Nick Foles comes down.
Never know.
Well, you actually suggested that about a month ago.
I'm just saying that would be perfect.
Happen.
But anyway, so so obviously the Raiders are going to be in the top 10 next year, so we don't worry about them. The Jets to me are interesting. Old crazy eyes up there, Adam Gase. I think that for me, I love Sam Darnold. I think he's a fantastic player. He was in a bad situation, a really tough spot. I like the pieces they have on the outside. I mean, they have some pieces. They can go out there and make something happen. If they can just give him a little bit of hope on offense. Too many times I saw him in difficult situations, to say the least, where he was trying to have to do it above and beyond the X's and O's. Let's just say that. So Adam Gase is going to bring a much better system, I think, and I like this move.
Yeah, one team that we didn't get a chance to talk about, and I would like to real quick, would be the Buccaneers.
Okay.
With Bruce Arians, you have an offense, and guess what? You got to get some defense going, but this draft is all defense. So you get an opportunity to kind of dive and get some young players to fix that. Jameis Winston gets fixed a little bit. Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, O.J. Howard. You add a running back, all of a sudden, they may be a team that have to contend the NFC South.
We thought this was a referendum season for Jameis Winston as a franchise quarterback, and it was kind of a mixed bag. So now with a new head coach, do you get him a whole other year to say,
oh, he'll be there?
I know he's going to be there at least for this year, but do they have that answer?
Bruce sounds like he wants to. Yeah, Bruce sounds like he wants to get a crack at it. So we'll see.
I like it.
And by the way, your team, the Jets, they have the second most cap space.
$90-something million, right?
Yeah, pick up a piece or two.
Listen, I'm about to get back in shape because I'm trying to play running back.
Nice, right? It can be a well-paying position. Speaking of rankings, for the second straight year, the Saints are ranked number 1 when it comes to overall game day satisfaction. The NFL has a committee, and then they also use a third-party service to poll fans on things such as game day satisfaction, game entertainment, safety and security, game day traffic, etc., etc. The Superdome received the highest marks by the fans across the NFL in this survey. Well, up next, from the big game to a big challenge, Patriots assistant coach Brian Flores, now the head man in Miami. Rams assistant Zach Taylor, now running the show in Cincinnati. But the titles only tell part of the story. After the break, who are these guys, really?